Hey folks, Turbine Guy coming back at you. We're at Seven Nations Park here in Orono. And just like a few years ago when I interviewed candidates, I'm back on the interview trail again. And we've got some great candidates running for Orono Mayor and Council this year. And I'm going to try to weed through a few of them to help you better understand who these people are, what's important to them, and how they're going to help the community, hopefully, return to its former glory. Here today with Miss Jacqueline Ricks running for the Orono Council, who I'm hoping is going to have a pretty good shot at it. So how long have you lived out here?
We've lived here since 2000. We built our house in Orono. We were looking for a city with a strong school district, and we felt like we really found that with Orono, and so we built a house there and we've lived there ever since.
But you moved here for the schools. Now, why are you running for council?
I am running because if you really want to know the whole thing, I was hearing from my mother, who lives on the east side, who was reading in the newspaper, the St. Paul paper, about Orono. And she said that Orono was in the paper because of the Orono City Council meetings and the uncivility of it. And I really thought she was kidding until I really started checking up on it, reading about it. And once I finally found out a little more, i.e. the fire department, the vacating of land, and just the non-transparency of the council itself, I decided that I had had enough and I really wanted to see if we could get some new people in there and change things.
So in a few words, the authoritarian nature of the current regime kind of drove you into trying to do the right thing.
It did. You
It
can say
did.
that.
Yeah. Now, you've already brought up a couple of things. Let's just ask you first. What do you think about the Public Works building and all this money we spent on this huge public Taj Mahal?
It's a beautiful building, but I have to say that I'm shocked that they spent that kind of money without ever having any public input into whether we wanted to have an $18 million bond against 8,000 people. I was shocked by that. And I was shocked by the fact that I like to think I kind of know what's going on in my city, and I thought it was an Amazon transfer station going up. And I really was wondering how they got zoning for it.
And first time I drove by it with my wife, she's like, "What's that?" I said, "That's a new public works." She's like, "Oh my goodness."
Yeah.
I also heard you talk about the fire department. And this is a little near and dear to my heart growing up out here and around a lot of these volunteer firefighters that I guess Orono Mayor Walsh has chosen to denigrate over and over as if these people are incompetent and haven't protected us well. What's your view on what's going on with the fire department?
My view is that I think it's very fiscally irresponsible to think that we can have an independent fire department in Orono. The cost alone is being projected between $30 to $50 million, on top of the $18 million that we've already spent. We've never had a complaint against the Long Lake firefighters. We have the same men, a lot of them. They're on the Orono and the Long Lake Fire Department, and I see no reason why we ever should have gone down that path of having our own.
Now, what this is driving me to, and I'm glad you said that, I did a video recently. Our property taxes, just for the city of Orono portion, went up 47% in the last 2 years. 47%. Now, there might be a lot of people in this community who don't really care. Whatever. You know what? I just got to know my dock's in and the boat's ready. There's a lot of that in this community. But I also know a number of people in this community, like Nancy the dock lady, who basically can't afford this type of on top tax increases that are going to chase her out of town. Is that what we want to be doing?
Absolutely not. In the past, when our house values would go up, normally the mayors would come in and they would lower the tax rate. So when Mayor Walsh says he's never raised taxes, he's actually never raised the tax rate. So your house that used to be worth, say, $500,000, that's now worth $1 million, you're going to end up paying twice as much for. And there's no extra money coming to you because that's in an equity, which you can't really cash out of at that moment.
Absolutely true. What this is doing is this is taking out of our pockets and spending needlessly. And you said 30 to 50 million. From what I've seen, we're almost 20 million into the public works, and we're going to be near 50 million in to the fire station by the time all said and done. We're talking $70 million to be carried over how many people? 8,000?
8,000, and our population's been going down. for the last 4 years. Not a lot, but it has been decreasing every year.
Bending, it's not because of Walsh, is it?
That I can't say.
I might say it is. That might be a fun video to do. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of money spent and a lot of money diverted from the parks in Orono. And what I loved about this community was, yes, we had certain parks, but we also respected nature when it came to our parks, because we understand that there's critters around here who have to live with us and should be living with us. Yet it seems like the current regime, Walsh and them, want to pave over and redevelop every park. Is that something you'd be on board with, or can we slow this stuff down and really reflect on where we want to keep natural and where we might want to develop?
I would really have to look at what they've done, so-called. I know that they've done the dog park. I haven't really seen a lot of changes in the parks that I've visited so far, so I'd actually like to see what they have to say. I've also talked to the new parks gentleman, Taylor, and I talked to him about the fact, if you're going to do a big planting project or something, why not involve the community into a volunteer and service at that point, so that people can come in, actually be part of the project and know what's going on and share in its upkeep and stuff. Because obviously, if you put your time and energy into helping to beautify a park, you want to see that continue on.
You're going to have an investment.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I like our parks to be places where people can come in, enjoy them, and like this park here, which is nice and peaceful. And I'm surprised that a lot more people don't use this park, actually.
I think people don't know about it. They drive right by it, don't understand there's this beautiful little park here with all these walking trails, and you come bring the kids or the dog or whatever and hang out. And I think that's the only reason. But the problem is, just like anywhere else, as things get developed, parks disappear, so does nature and wildlife. And we do have a serious wildlife problem in this community. Not that the wildlife is here, but it's dangerous not only for them but for us too, because there are so many deer in this community. I mean, I see wild turkeys everywhere now, things I didn't necessarily see when I was a kid. Heck, at our house, I'll see 3 or 4 bald eagles in our tree every now and then. So it's around here, but that's why you need the park space, so that they have these places to go.
Absolutely. I would agree with you 100%.
Well, I just want to give you one last chance to talk to the people of Orono. Let them know what's important to you.
I would really, truly appreciate everyone's support. I think myself, Steve Persian, and Bob Thunheim can bring in a lot of change. First off, just civility, and I think that's just called being nice to people again, and sitting down to talk about things in a manner that everyone can be heard and everyone can be respected. And from there, move forward, trying to find out if there's what kind of recourse we have for the fire departments, finding out where exactly we stand with the public works building, and finding out where we can go with the vacated fire lanes as well.
One last thing that just came to mind. What about public comments? Do you think people should be relegated to the end of a meeting when nobody's around anymore?
No, absolutely not. That's why I said I'd like to have meetings where people can be heard and respected. And I think we need dialogue, because I know with Steve and Bob and I, if we get elected and get to come in, we're going to have to talk to a lot of people and really listen, I think, to find the path forward for Orono. And that means everybody in Orono gets to be able to say what they think, whether that's emailing us, talking to us, a meeting, that people need to be heard. And that we want people to be able to feel comfortable giving us input so that we can move forward in a way that's good for all of Orono.
I couldn't agree more. And I'll tell you what, the Turbine Guy says it's long past due. Turbine Guy, signing off with Jacqueline Ricks.